Welcome to another episode of the Three Guys Podcast. Tonight, I am by myself, but I do have a great guest, and something that I know is very special to her heart, as well as the fact that it's something that's great that I like to see happening, especially in this day. It's Christina Byron. Christina, thank you for coming on. I know this has been a project to get you on because
Thank you for having me.
because of our schedule. I know you're very busy.
Yeah.
So normally I would have, as I was telling you earlier, Christina, normally I have myself, my brother, and Brian. My brother is working. Brian is actually in San Diego traveling for work. But the good thing about Christina is not only is she a friend, but she was also a former employee of mine. I know Christina could tell you that I was the best boss she ever had.
The one and only.
There you go, right? So, but it's more important than just being a former employee. Christina's a really great friend. And I've seen her grow up in where she is now to what she's doing. And, she'll tell us about it, what she's doing tonight as part of this great episode. So without further ado, as I told you before, Christina, I'm going to start you off with some fun questions. This is just to warm you up, get you ready to go so you feel comfortable, because I know you said you're a little nervous. But so we're going to do these, right?
Ready.
You ready?
Ready.
All right. The beach. Oh, let's pick one. The beach or the mountains?
Oh, the beach. I don't do nature.
There you go. Well, I guess the next question would be, is the ocean or the lake?
The lake. The ocean.
The ocean.
You can see the bottom of the ocean sometimes.
Yeah, I'm the same way with that. I don't like not seeing the bottom of the lake. No one, specifically if there's snakes in there.
Yep.
All right. This is a movie. Notebook or the Titanic?
Oh, I would have to say the Notebook.
I saw when I was going through your Facebook page trying to see what likes you have, because I'm trying to remember which movies you like. I know we worked together at the movie theater, but I don't remember which movies. But one of your likes was the Notebook, and I'm trying to find something that would go with the Notebook. I'm like, let me go with Titanic, because it's got to be the closest one to being like a love story.
Yeah, I was never the friend that liked the movies. That was like Dana and Kelsey and the girls, but I would like seldomly go to a movie.
Well, I guess the next question may not be into your thing. It's actually, hopefully you've seen these two movies. The Goonies or Stand By Me?
Oh, the Goonies all day long.
Really? So yeah. I ask that with everyone. That's like the go-to question on here, because we always trying to find out, because I'm a big Stand By Me fan. I like the Goonies, but I think Stand By Me is the movie. I don't know, just because of the way it was set, the kids growing up, having friends, and the Goonies is the same way.
Yeah, the truffle shuffle, and oh my God.
Yeah. All right.
I watch it all the time.
Yeah, it's funny. They're still on. They're always on all the time.
Yeah, girls are my like go-to things to go to bed at night.
Yeah, the Golden Girls is always on late too. It's funny, if you click on IMDb on your, like, especially on your TV, you get all the old shows. It's pretty cool, like All in the Family. And it was funny. Yeah, and it was funny today. We were talking about Stand By Me, and it's one of my friends. He had gone to Seattle, and the other friend's like, "Oh, we talk about that's the Goonies was filmed in Oregon because he wanted to go to Oregon." And then so I said, "Yeah, well, Stand By Me was in that same area, Washington, Oregon." He goes, "No, it wasn't." I said, "Yeah, it was." And he's like, "No, it was in Maine." So we were arguing back and forth, and it was Castle Rock, Oregon. So
I don't know how people battle you. You are our boss.
I don't know. I know my movies. All right. Best job, bartender or concession stand attendant at the movie theater?
I mean, Derek was definitely the best boss ever, but I would have to say bartender all day. Sorry.
I hope so. You got a lot more better tips as a bartender.
I didn't have to have butter in my shoe all the time.
Yes, and I'm sure you don't have many people yelling at you half the time. Not that you got yelled at a lot. You were a good employee, but you know how it is. People going in.
I was the number one employee.
That's right. We always said that, right? And you've taken it to the next level, you went from serving popcorn, candy, and soda to serving alcohol.
Yeah. In the family.
Yeah, right? No
one
kidding.
They get fed, one they get drunk. It's the same thing.
Well, you know what, though? But you also, as being a bartender, you have this great nonprofit you just started.
Yes.
It's called We Ride So They Fly. can you just, well, first of all, tell us a little bit about that, and then tell us like what made you decide to go down that road. I mean, I remember, when we used to work in the movie theater, I didn't realize you had the aspirations to do what you're doing now with nonprofits, getting involved with veterans, but I think it's a great thing. So how'd you get involved with that? And what exactly is We Ride So They Fly?
So in 2013, I graduated college, and my uncle, the founder of Honor Flight New England, Joe Byron, actually asked me to go on an Honor Flight New England. And I had no idea really what it was. I just kind of knew, it involved veterans. My grandfather was World War II, who passed away when I was young. And so we never really got to honor him, and he never really spoke about what he went through. We had pictures of him holding monkeys in Hawaii and, pictures of him, but we never knew really, what he did and what he was about. So my uncle had asked me to go on an honor flight, and I decided I was going to go. I was 21, and it was a really early Sunday morning, and I was a guardian for a World War II hero. And after spending the whole entire day from like 5 or 6 in the morning until we landed at like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, like I just became hooked. I can't even describe like how it was. I just sat with him all day long, listened to his story, listened to, his love story about his wife and how he came home from the war, and him and his wife opened up a little breakfast place in Hampton. And I became hooked. And it was every year after that, I went on almost every single flight, and then COVID hit. And I was blessed. I just, was able to shake hands with like World War II vets and say thank you to Tuskegee Airmen that, people have no idea about and what they've went through. So I started going on the flights, and it's a nonprofit, and somebody started doing a pub crawl and raising money for Honor Flight New England, and it was in Maynard, Mass. And I was instantly intrigued, and we went to the pub crawls, and I was super determined to find another way to raise money in the New Hampshire area. And so I started We Ride So They Fly. I called a very good friend of mine, Donnie Jarvis, who has been on an honor flight. And I said to him, I really want to do a bike run. What do you think? And he put me in contact with a few people who let me sit in on their meetings and learn basically how to run a ride and the basics of it. And I told him, I was like, I really want to do this. And he actually said, let's work together. And he designed our first flyer, and we became We Ride So They Fly. And so ever since then, it just took off, and we did our first bike run 4 years ago, and it was a beautiful turnout. And so we've just done it every year since. And this year we became a nonprofit. So that way, we can continue to raise money for them, especially since with all they've been through with COVID and not being able to fly, we wanted to be able to give everything back that we can.
So is this the first time you've been back since COVID, or has this, you have one coming up in June, right?
So the second year was a virtual ride. And instead of having the actual ride, we did t-shirt sales and 50-50. And it was out of Manchester Harley-Davidson. Last year, we actually had the ride. A very good friend of mine, Vice President Nick Marks from New Hampshire PGR, really helped us out, and we were able to do the ride. And this year, we just, decided to become our own nonprofit, so that way we can do everything on our own. And I have a great board of directors. I have a great committee that's turned into family, and we were able to do it. So this is our second year since COVID that we've done an actual ride.
Okay. But with the flights, is this your first flight coming up for them? Have you done in the COVID era, or is this the first one coming up in June?
So they did. I'm not really sure. We actually just went, I wasn't on a flight, but we actually just went out of Logan. We did a send off. So what a send off is we reach out to the community, or Honor Flight New England reaches out to the community, and We Ride So They Fly, New Hampshire Patriot Guard Riders, all the community comes together and they send these heroes off. So Honor Flight New England just had a flight, I think 2 weeks ago, and I believe they have one coming up in June. So yeah, so I didn't go on the flight, but I was there to send them off and shake their hand and thank them for their service.
That's great. So the money you're getting from the nonprofit, you're applying towards them getting on the flight, or is that what
So We Ride So They Fly every year does the We Ride So They Fly bike run. So we've actually never really done any other events. It's just the big one is We Ride So They Fly bike run. And it's the last Saturday of June. Every year we do a bike run to raise money, and all the proceeds go to Honor Flight New England. So last year we raised, I think it was over $30,000, and we gave it to Honor Flight New England. So We Ride So They Fly was basically just like a title in the beginning, just, a flyer name, and then it became a nonprofit. So that way we could, do what we needed to do to raise money for Honor Flight New England. But yeah, so we give the money to Honor Flight New England.
I got you. And so then they can go on their flights and
Yep.
and the flight goes to Washington, D.C.
Yep. So they fly the veterans to Washington, D.C. to see their memorials at no cost to them. I always say, from being a guardian and from seeing things through my eyes, it's giving them the thank you that they deserve and the welcome home that they never received. I know one of the veterans, I became very close with, we dedicated the ride to last year, James Slater, had said, we did what we had to do, and we just came home and went back to work. So it's a really good feeling from my experience going on these flights and seeing tears in their eyes and smiles on their faces and saying, like, we did what we had to do. And it feels really good that, they got the thank you they deserve.
Yeah, that's for sure. What exactly is a guardian?
So Honor Flight New England, they have guardians, and every guardian is paired up with a veteran. So I was a guardian for a couple of flights, and then I kind of went on those flights to help out as well. But yeah, so they're paired up with a veteran, and it's just to make sure they are available to have a wheelchair all day long if they need to, but it's just to kind of be arm in arm with them all day long to make sure they have the best experience that they deserve.
That's great. Now you're seeing more of it where we're getting into the Korean War and the Vietnam War with the veterans. I'm sorry, the Vietnam veterans and the Korean veterans. Whereas, is there a lot? How many more World War II veterans are still?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I know that they take Korean War, World War II, Vietnam, and terminally ill veterans as well. I'm not sure how many they have left.
Now, do you have a tie to Honor Flight that you've decided to create We Ride So They Fly?
Yeah. So my uncle is the founder of Honor Flight New England, Joe Byron. And when he had asked me to come on a flight in 2013 and, being a guardian and a volunteer for so many years, I just felt like it was only right to give back. I'm super proud of my uncle. I'm super obsessed, not even being biased. I'm super obsessed with his nonprofit organization. It's something that if you go on a flight, words can't describe what it means to not only you, but those veterans and giving back. So I started We Ride So They Fly and had the idea and called a couple of friends and asked them what they thought to have an event every year or a bike run every year so we can raise money for Honor Flight New England, because it's an organization that just does so much for so many families having those veterans on the flight. And, it's just a great organization. I'm super proud of them.
Oh, I know. I saw them pop up when you started promoting them in the last, 5 or 6 years. When I saw them on your Facebook page, you were always going and grabbing some of the old employees, and you guys were going over there, which was cool. I found it interesting.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. When I started We Ride So They Fly, I reached out to a bunch of friends and family and said, I have this idea and I need hands on deck. And they said, what are we doing? And I said, I don't really know. Let's just kind of see where it goes. And let's see if we can raise a ton of money for Honor Flight New England. And the great thing about it, when I have talked to people and they say, you guys make it look so easy. We were all friends before. My friends, my family, they all know what it means by seeing the videos I post or, hearing me talk about it literally all the time, or taking days off or working doubles and then having to go, on a flight the next day. And everybody knows what it means to me. So it became not only the passion for me, but a passion for everybody else to say, okay, we really need to do this. Let's raise money every year for this organization. It just so happens, it was my family's organization. So I definitely have my family support as well.
Yeah, but you also get to, that's great as well. But you also, like you said, you get to experience history by talking to these veterans when you go over there and they tell you their story of, some of them may have never even told the story before. And you're the first person they're telling about a lot of the stuff.
Yeah. Last year we had the ride. We had the We Ride So They Fly bike run in memory of James Slater, who was actually a Korean War veteran, and he had passed away. I think it was a year and a half ago. And I'm still very close to his wife. And it's so funny. So we used to bring like the bikes to his house and just pull up and go visit him and bring him lunch and bring him dinner. And we were there the last weeks of his life. And, he always used to say, why me? And I always used to get so emotional. And I said, why wouldn't it be you? Like my grandfather passed away when I was little, and he was a World War II hero, and I was never able to give back. And this bike run, like writing a check to Honor Flight New England, this bike run is a little piece of what I can give back to these heroes, because let's face it, like we can't give nearly enough to these heroes with what they deserve for what they've been through to make our country the way it is, so it's just a feeling that you can't describe. And they're the most humble, loving people that you'll ever meet. So that's why it definitely took off. And that's why it became such a important nonprofit in order to do so, raising money for them.
Yeah. No, I listen, my father was a Vietnam veteran. He tells me stories that what he does talk about. He said, listen, when I came back, people just didn't, they didn't treat, they didn't care. Not that they didn't care. I don't say they didn't care, but it was, they treated them like shit, essentially, the veterans.
Yeah, they were expected to go back to work. And I can't speak on behalf of Honor Flight, but I know when I became close to Sergeant James Slater towards the end of his life, I went over there and it was during COVID. So we were all masked up, can't touch, especially like elderly. And, his wife had said, take a picture with him. So obviously he's in his bed, and I go next to his bed and I kneel down, and he reached out his hand to hold my hand. And I didn't know what to do because of COVID. I didn't want to break down crying. And then his wife said, it's okay to reach out his hand. And after he had passed away, she said, he's never reached out to hold my hand like that in so many years. And it's just, it's letting them know that they're not forgotten and they never will be forgotten. And it's something that I don't even know if they teach in schools anymore, and it means the world to them to be able to do that.
Oh, I mean, when you watch, at the best you can get closest to it, like you said, history didn't even get that far, but you watch movies and you see World War II or anything like that, and you see the stuff they went through during World War II. I don't know how anyone would come back sane. The stuff that they saw. I mean, I don't know how someone could remain sane after that.
Yeah. And it's things that, from my experience in talking to family members that I've become close with, that have gone on an honor flight, like Mr. Slater, and talking to his son, his wife said, he never spoke about those days when he was in war, and he was never, I don't want to say he wasn't a warm person, but he just lived his day to day, and that's what it was. And then coming back from an honor flight, from what his wife said, he changed,
Yeah.
for the better, and was able to kind of,
Make peace.
love and be open. Yeah. And if you go into Mr. Slater's house, it's all like this patch I'm wearing. It's all decorated in his military stuff, but you just would never know. You would just never know what it is. And that's why, I was super blessed to be a guardian at one point and be able to even just shake their hands. And that's why even I promote, if they have their honor flights, what I'll do on the We Ride So They Fly Facebook page, or I'll do on my personal page, I'll ask people to come out to go to the send off, because even just being there and holding a flag, or even just being there and clapping and saying thank you for your service, like that means the world to them.
Yeah.
So it's anything we can do to try to, help out this great nonprofit that once you see what it is, anybody would be totally passionate about.
Well, it sounds like this Mr. Slater made an impression on you.
Yeah. So 2 years ago, I had a group of people go shovel out his driveway, and he had said to me downstairs once again, like he always said, he was like, "Why me?" And I said, I never got to honor my grandfather for what he did in war. So let me adopt you as my grandfather and let me do for you what I was never able to do for my own grandfather, because I was so little when he passed. And that's kind of where it took off. Yeah. As like a friendship and basically a family. We still take them out all the time. Well, we still take his wife out all the time too.
So can anyone be like, if someone wanted to become a guardian, would they be able to reach out to Honor Flight and do that? Or how would that work?
I believe, so I'm not really sure. So I believe any veteran, I think the application is online. And then to sign up to be a guardian, I believe that application's online as well. That way it would go through Honor Flight New England.
I get you. So for your We Ride So They Fly, where do you guys ride? Where do you start? Where do you finish?
So we start at Manchester Harley Davidson, and it's an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half. Beautiful route. We have the communities. We try to get the communities to come out and support. And we end at the Deerhead Sportsman's Club in Hooksett, New Hampshire, where we have bands and raffles and a 50-50 and a barbecue. And we pull into the Deerhead, I would say about like 12:30, 1 o'clock. So people that want to go out and support and listen to the band and have food and participate in the raffles, they don't need to ride. They can go to the Deerhead Sportsman's Club as well. Okay.
So it is part of the ride where you're making initial payment to be part of the ride, or is?
Yeah. So you can register on Eventbrite, the We Ride So They Fly on June 25th. You can pre-register on Eventbrite to ride or be a passenger. And all the riders and passengers get a lunch ticket to go along with that. So that way, once you get to the Deerhead, you can just get in line. And then for lunch, we just ask for a donation. And then that's at the Deerhead. But people will be out front kind of guiding people to where to go.
So you're doing this once a year? Is that right now?
Yes. So we do the bike run the last Saturday of June every month. Or every year.
I was going to say every. Okay. So when is this year's?
June 25th.
And you saying it's what time at?
So registration for the bike run starts at 9 a.m. At Manchester Harley Davidson. And this year, it's actually a very special year. Well, they're all very special, but it's very, very special to our family. It is in honor of World War II hero James Byron. He actually is my great uncle. He was on an honor flight in May 2016 with his daughter. He never went on an honor flight prior to that until his wife passed away. And then, he decided he wanted to go on one. And he had passed away in November 2021. So this year we are riding in honor of him.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we'll have a ceremony at 10:30 in the morning in honor of him, and then kickstands up at 11.
Okay. And then the ending is when it's again, where do you end again at?
We end at the Deerhead Sportsman Club in Hooksett, New Hampshire.
And the good thing is you don't have to ride to get involved with this, like you said.
Nope. We're looking for volunteers if people want to get involved and be more hands-on. If people want to go to Manchester Harley Davidson to see the ceremony, I mean, it's a very emotional ceremony. There's parking across the street where people can park and just kind of walk over and donate there. We'll have 50-50 raffle tickets there, and t-shirts and merchandise and sweatshirts and tank tops. But if people want to go have the lunch and join us and listen to music and purchase raffle tickets and everything like that, that would be at the Deerhead Sportsman's Club around 1 o'clock.
Now, would you be able to, because this is your first year doing it, when was your nonprofit in place?
This is the first year being a nonprofit. I started We Ride So They Fly 4 years ago, but this is the first year we're a nonprofit.
So do you have a website? So if someone wanted to donate throughout the year, not just on June 25th or the last Saturday in June?
Yes. So what I tell people is if they want to donate to Honor Flight New England, go on the Honor Flight New England webpage and donate to them. That will go directly towards them. Anybody who's interested in sponsoring the ride or donating raffles or volunteering for the ride, they can email me at weridesottheyfly@gmail.com or go on the website weridesottheyfly.org or follow us on Facebook.
Okay. So your email again, what was that again?
weridesottheyfly@gmail.com.
Okay. So if anyone wants to donate throughout the whole year and not just on, they can do that and follow you and get that. So what I see you posting on Facebook quite a bit about, giving, and listen, Christina, I told you before, I said, I'm proud of you because, it's not the easiest thing in the world. I know you said public speaking is not easy and the rest, it's not easy for all of us. Let's just tell you that. I don't know many people who say, I can't wait to get up and do some public speaking. It doesn't happen for anyone. So I started to see you doing that more, which I think is fantastic. But I do see you looking for like volunteers. What exactly type of help are you looking for this event? And if anyone wanted to get involved in your nonprofit just as a helper on a regular basis, let them know how they can do that.
Yeah. So we are looking for volunteers as we get bigger over the years. As the Spike Run gets bigger over the years, we definitely need more hands-on volunteers. We're trying a different thing this year where we're setting it up. It is a long day. So we're setting it up morning, afternoon, what works better for people, and also giving people the chance to enjoy the day as well. So we'll need volunteers for the t-shirt table. We'll need volunteers for the Deerhead, which is, setting up the decorations, to the raffle table, to merchandise, or just someone to be there to say, hey, what do you need from us? We're just looking for volunteers that want to get involved and be hands-on with us. We're open and very flexible to times. If people can only do the morning, that's fine. Even if it's just, just walking around and greeting people or making sure everybody is, knowing that there's a breakfast table or knowing that there's t-shirts available or anything like that. If they want to get involved, they can email me at weridesottheyfly@gmail.com. Or just follow us on Facebook. Myself and 2 other committee members run the Facebook page, so somebody will always be there ready to answer.
So my question, I know you mentioned it briefly back there a while back, but you said that, let's say I'm a family member and I have a veteran in my family and I want to, suggest it or find a way to get on the honor flight for that individual. You're saying that you go online and that's how you can find an application. Is that what you do?
Yes. So if you know a veteran, the Honor Flight New England website has the application online, and then it would go to the Honor Flight Committee and Board of Directors, I believe, or it would go to somebody who is Honor Flight New England, and then they would have the application.
So Honor Flight New England, how many times a year do they fly and when do they usually fly?
I'm not sure since COVID. I know they just flew in April, and I know I think they're flying one more time, maybe June. I'm not really sure. Things have changed over the years because of COVID. This is the first year they've really started back up since COVID. When I was doing it as a guardian and a volunteer, it was April, May, June. April, May, June, September, October, November, but I'm not sure. It's very different because because of COVID and everything.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do they always
have, like their own.
do they fly out of Boston or do they fly out of Manchester or what do they
Both.
vary? They do both.
They fly out of both. Yep.
So what's the day? What would a day with a guiding and a veteran entail?
So I can't speak on behalf of Honor Flight. I can speak when I was a guardian. They would go to the airport, they would fly. It's a lot of surprises, so I can't really give them away.
Okay.
They would go to the different memorials throughout Washington, D.C. They would have lunch. And then there's a lot of different, like I said, little surprises throughout to really make it a special day.
And it's all done in one day.
All done in one day. That was the coolest thing about Honor Flight New England that I loved when I was a volunteer. I loved that it was just one day. So it was like one very emotional, packed day of hugs and tears and love and giving back to them.
That's great. That's great. So anyone looking to volunteer, that's something you're looking for, more volunteers throughout. Now, what about throughout the year? I mean, I know it takes a lot to prepare these things. So people think, hey, it's 1 year, but are you looking for volunteers throughout the year just to help you guys with anything?
Yeah. So We Ride So They Fly is always going to have, hopefully we'll always have their bike run at every year to raise money for Honor Flight New England. Our number one goal, our number one mission is to, and will always be, to raise money for Honor Flight New England. We wanted to be a nonprofit because we were a group of friends and family that always got together to give back to not only Honor Flight New England, but different organizations as well, and went to different rides and, supported different things. So we decided to submit to be a nonprofit. So that way we could be really one unit and do what we want to do. And be able to give back. Our number one beneficiary and our only beneficiary is Honor Flight New England for our bike run. But we became a nonprofit so that way we could do everything on our own to be able to serve our mission the best we can. But as of right now, we only have one bike run at the end of June every year.
But are you looking for people to help you prepare for that? Maybe volunteers?
Yes.
Yeah. To expand.
Yeah. So we run a 50-50 raffle. That will actually probably be starting in, I would want to say, a week and a half or 2 weeks. Last year, we had a winner that took over $10,000 home.
Wow.
So we go to different bars, restaurants, stadiums, events, and we hold 50-50 raffle ticket sales with approval of the different businesses. So we definitely would love to have help with that. So
you're looking for businesses to give a little donation, something like that? Huh?
Yeah. So we're accepting sponsorships as well from businesses. We would love raffles. I'm super proud. We have a great committee that handles a raffle table. Our fundraising coordinator is absolutely amazing. So sponsorships, raffles, raffle baskets, gift certificates, anything like that, we are accepting. We accept them throughout the year. It will only be used for We Ride So They Fly, the bike run, for the raffles. Sponsorships for the We Ride So They Fly bike run, all money is for the June 25th event. So anything afterwards, we might start trying to do some fundraising for We Ride So They Fly in order for us to be able to do more things and get out there more. But anything for sponsorships or raffles right now will all go towards the June 25th event.
So if you want to be a sponsor as a business or just a regular individual, same thing, same email, just reach out to the same email to get in touch with you.
Yep. You would reach out to that email, and I would say 1 to 2 business days, I would email you back. There's a sponsorship form that shows the different sponsorships. And there's also the sponsorship letter that would kind of explain everything from our mission to what we want to do to what we would use our money for.
That's great. Where do you see the future of We Ride So They Fly?
I don't know. I mean, we made it through COVID. I mean, it was definitely a tough time during COVID to plan, like, is there any way that we can still raise money for Honor Flight New England? Because even if they couldn't fly that year or year and a half or whatever it was, we still wanted to make sure that we were giving them as much money as we can and raising money for them. So when they've had their flight start up, we would be able to help them out. I would love to say I would love, and I know my committee is dedicated and as passionate and stubborn as I am, where we're going to continue to do this. We're going to continue to have our bike run event every year for as long as we can, and hopefully get out there and just, really spread awareness about how great this organization is, which is Honor Flight New England. And even if it is just having somebody that doesn't know about Honor Flight New England and they see my post where I'm saying, join us to send off these heroes that you'll probably never meet again, being able to shake their hands and say thank you for their service, like that's my main goal, is to be able to raise as much money as I can for them, but also to like be able to just give back to them, because there aren't a lot of World War II heroes anymore. There aren't a lot of Korean War veterans, and also a lot of these heroes don't want to, or they're very hesitant to go on a flight because they don't really know what it's about. So raising awareness as well, so they can get their application in to Honor Flight New England.
So, I mean, you just hit a good point there. Some veterans just don't want to get, they may not want to get on because they don't know what the experience is.
Mm-hmm.
I know you briefly talked about it, but tell a veteran, like you would, like telling me right now, what is the benefit of, maybe reconnecting with other individuals? But I mean, you've seen it, you've experienced it. What changed Mr. Slater's mind that he said, you know what, I want to do this, and then after that he said, you know what, it was definitely worth it.
I don't remember how he ended up on an honor flight. I think his son signed him up, or he was a part of a group that had talked about it. So he had signed up. And even still to this day, I think I always make jokes and I say, to his wife too, when she said, you never knew how much it meant to Mr. Slater that you would just come over. And I said, well, he didn't really have a choice. I was very stubborn and I would just show up even if he didn't want me there or not, just to spend time with him and be with him. I can't ever tell somebody they have to go on a flight, and I could never, and I would never be able to feel how they feel with what they've been through. But all I can say is seeing it through so many veterans' eyes. And even like when I post the videos, from 2 weeks ago at the Logan Airport and seeing all their smiles, it's just give it a chance. Just give it a chance to go on that flight the day. I promise you, from what I've seen and knowing how Honor Flight New England is, from how passionate my uncle is from an organization and his whole committee, give it a chance, because I promise it will be one of the best days of your lives. And that's what even Mr. Slater said, it's probably one of the best days of my life, except other than like when I had kids or when I got married.
Yeah.
So it's just giving him a chance. And I know it's scary. I still have a great uncle who wouldn't go on a flight. And just like my uncle Jim, who didn't go on a flight until his wife passed. And, it took a lot of years to talk him into it. It's kind of giving it a chance, because they deserve it. They deserve to have that, even a handshake to say thank you for your service. It's opened my eyes too, to even just when I'm out in the community and I see somebody, whether it's a World War II vet, a Vietnam vet, or, an Afghanistan veteran, just being able to go up to them and say thank you for your service. That 2 seconds to go up and shake somebody's hand might make a huge difference to them.
Yeah, no, you're right. And it seems like in your instance, and I'm sure other people, they've actually met a lifetime friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like you're still close with the family.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's comforting. I always say too, when I was a volunteer guardian, and, I can't, from my experience, just being able to sit there, like they've done they've done more for me than I can do for them. Pushing a veteran around in a wheelchair and spending the day with them, that's more, I'm more blessed to be able to do that and to be able to sit with them versus them sitting with me. Like they've given me more than I think they realize.
Yeah. I
And
see.
that's why I really wanted to raise money for them to be able to continue to do that.
Well, I see that, we sent out the form to you and you basically, who motivates you, and you put your grandfather, who was a World War II hero, passed away prior to Honor Flight New England. Do you want to talk a little bit about your grandfather? Why he was such a motivator for you?
Yeah. So my grandfather was a World War II CB. And he was married to my grandmother for years and years and years. When I was born, he was a very tough man from what my family had said. And then when I was born, what they say is softened up a little bit. And I only remember seeing the photos from when he was in Hawaii. And I only remember the stories that my grandmother told. And, I never really took the time to kind of stop and not listen, but really like remember. So after my grandmother died years ago, I really wanted to do it in honor of him because he just never, he passed away before Honor Flight New England. He was obviously like my first go-to person. Like both my grandfathers passed away when I was young, and he was my motivation. I always said that, and my mom says it, and my grandmother said it when she was alive. Like, I really wish that he was able to go on an honor flight. And I was young when he had passed away, and I never knew about Honor Flight New England. I never knew about like any honor flights. So I'm able to kind of carry it on and hope he's watching me and being proud and watching, us raising money for something that he could have really benefited from, I feel. And that's, this year dedicating it to my great uncle Jim. There's so many things that I'm learning, even through just building the website and sending the information over to the person that does the website. Like, I never knew my uncle Jim received the Good Conduct Medal or the World War II Victory Medal. Like, I never knew any of this stuff about my grandfather or my uncle Jim. So when I had started WWII, my uncle Jim was still alive, and my grandfather, we had pulled out his papers and I saw all his medals and what he has won. And I never knew that. And so I just wish that he was alive to be able to go on a flight. And so I figured, like, I don't want anybody to ever have to experience that, where they can have a loved one go on an honor flight and learn this stuff about them, even if they're not on the flight with them,
Yeah. Yeah. So and that's the other thing too, with the honor flight, is it with you and one other person that can go on with the veteran? Is it the veteran and like a family member?
It's a veteran and a guardian. Okay. I'm not really sure how they do that.
I got you. Stuff like that. And I know they call it Honor Flight New England, but did you get a lot of people outside the New England area that wanted to sign up and have come out, travel to actually go on this honor flight?
I don't know. I don't know how it is. I know they have an honor flight. I think you can go online. I think they have like an honor flight network, and then different states have different honor flights, I believe. I'm not really sure. But Honor Flight New England is
number one, right?
Trip of a lifetime.
Do you have, I was going to ask you earlier, it slipped my mind, but did you have any current sponsors, or do you?
Yes. So we have, we are very blessed this year. We have a lot of new sponsors. We have a lot of people that are learning about us. We have, I'm probably going to miss them. So we have Bank of New England. As of right now, let me see if I can pull it up. So we have Bank of New England. We have Wally's. We have Wolf Mechanical, Two Guys Smoke Shop, the American Legion Post 98, Glass Pro, and then we have two individual sponsors. I'm not really sure if they would kill me if I put them on the air.
That's understood. That's fine.
And then we are just getting another one in the mail. I'm actually really excited. She does a lot of great work. So I'm excited.
Yeah, hopefully get you some more. The more the merrier, right?
Yeah. Yeah. there's definitely not. And like I said, for June 25th, that We Ride So They Fly bike run, all proceeds go to Honor Flight New England. So from t-shirt sales to the registration, everything goes to Honor Flight New England.
Now, do you have something like online? If I wanted, let's say during the middle of the year, I said I want to buy a t-shirt. Do you have a place they can go online to grab a t-shirt?
So one of our sponsors is actually the company we order our t-shirts through. It's Mint Print Works. And we have, we're going to try to do an online shirt, like online merch store after the ride. We did one prior to the ride last year and it got kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So this year, our goal is to try to open the merch store online after the event. It won't be run for like a while. It'll probably only be open for a week. So after the ride, we'll probably post something and say, hey, you only have 1 week to get your merchandise in, because once people see like the t-shirts or the hats or anything like that, they usually want to buy them. Yeah. And then once that is all set, we're going to try to start doing some raising for next year's stuff, with like hats and all that other stuff, but it's separate from, that's after the ride and after we already give the check to Honor Flight New England.
I gotcha. So share all your information again, Christina, all your social and all your emails. So if people want to get, whether they sponsor or volunteer or just any type of involvement to help out.
Yeah. So I tell people, whether they want to sponsor, volunteer, send a raffle, find out more information about We Ride So They Fly, or just say hi and give their opinions or their thoughts, they can email me at weridesottheyfly@gmail.com. If they go on the weridesottheyfly.org website, it will give you all the information from the day of the ride, registration, kickstands up, and you'll be able to purchase the tickets online for the ride. But you can also register the day of the ride. And then to find out more information or kind of see what we're doing and what we're up to, they can follow us on Facebook at We Ride So They Fly.
And we're going to share this, just so you know, Christina, on your logo, what you submitted for your art. We'll put all your contact information on there as well. We'll share leading up to the event. So we try to help any way we can to get people to show up, volunteer or whatever. It's just to donate. And maybe that will be some help there that we can try to give you as well.
Yeah, that would be great.
That's the whole goal. Is there anything, Christina, that I didn't touch upon that you would like to discuss? Because I know there's quite a bit, but I don't want to miss anything.
The only thing I would probably say is, I know people usually ask, we haven't had a lot of people that asked it, but if the event is refundable, if it rains.
Yeah, that's a good question. That is a good question.
As crazy as that sounds, unfortunately, I will be very honest, We Ride So They Fly, when we became a nonprofit, there's only 6 of us. We have a family that's very supportive of friends, that we have amazing volunteers for the day of the ride.
So you don't have a rain date. You don't have a rain date then?
No, we're a very small group. So we're going to keep it. It's going to be rain or shine. No refunds. If somebody has a huge problem with it, they can.
I don't think anyone would, because it's going to a great cause. And then the other thing is, right, even if you can't ride, you just go right to the place, for the restaurant, right? You get the lunch and you have the band and everything else. I mean,
yeah, Deerhead Sportsman's Club, they have an indoor, but we also, obviously the cookout is outdoor, but they'll have tents up, they'll have everything. So if people don't want to get wet, they can stay. There's places for them. But yeah, it's rain or shine. It's no refunds. But any other questions, they can just email me. I'm pretty good at I'm getting better at getting back to people. 1 to 2 days.
Well, Christina, I mean, listen, I'm proud of you. I think what you've done is unbelievable to go from where you were to, I remember watching you as an employee coming out of high school and the things working at the movie theater to what you do now. And it's unbelievable to see the growth and what you've accomplished. It's not easy being a president of a nonprofit. You have to go through quite a bit to be. Listen, I know as being an attorney, to create a 501c3, it's not the easiest thing in the world. It can be a pain in the rear end with a lot of stuff you need and do to create your board and do it for such a great cause. It's just should be commendable. And I know when I was talking to you a couple of weeks ago, I was like, oh, I was being a pain in the ass. But hey, you fill out the form, and you're like, sorry, Derek, I just did a double and then I had to go on a flight. Or you had something next day, and I'm like, whoops, I feel like an ass.
Yeah, it was a send off.
Yeah. So, but my point is, you're doing a lot there. You're working a lot of hours and getting involved with such a noble cause that it's a great thing. I mean, and hopefully more people will get involved and people donate. Maybe you expand to have a couple money raising events throughout the year.
Yeah, that's definitely our goal. People ask me all the time, they're like, why'd you become a nonprofit? And I was, and I sound crazy saying it. And I say, why not? With COVID and going through COVID and all the hoops we had to jump through with a bunch of different things, why not become a nonprofit? Our mission stays the same. We're still having our bike run every year and we haven't changed. It's just, we became a nonprofit. So that way everything is just under us now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's easy. Honestly, I think it makes more sense for money purposes to show where the money is being directed to. So no one's questioning, oh, you took the money and you did this and that with it, which some people can get like that. But Christina, I really,
whole new world.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, I really appreciate you coming on, Christina. I know you're busy and be able to squeeze. I know last week you were trying to squeeze it in between work. And I said, no, there's no way. I felt bad for you. I'm like, there's no way. You have a band down there and you're between your break at work. I'd rather push it off.
The Eli Young band. I was going to run upstairs.
No, it's not worth it. And you don't realize like an hour. I mean, we're almost into an hour now, and you don't realize, especially when you start talking and questions I have. And this is just a one-on-one. If I had someone else on here, you would have had other questions, which could have led us even longer that I didn't think of. So, that's always the possibility. But again, I really appreciate you taking the time. If there's anything else you want to add before we end this, feel free to add information, anything you want.
I think I'm pretty good. It's kind of just inviting people out to, experience like a day at the ride. It's, not only raising money for Honor Flight New England, but bringing awareness to like what it is. There's so many people over the years where even my friends that became, a part of my committee and the board of directors in the beginning, they didn't know what Honor Flight was until I was like, oh my God, you have to hear about what I do and all these flights. And then they really start to know. And, I can't, I'm not Honor Flight New England. I'm just a girl that started going on at a young age and just became hooked. And mostly everybody I've met that has shaken a veteran's hand on a send off or even just been a part of the ride has became hooked and had the same passion, so it's really cool to see, our merchandise out there or our hats out there that people are wearing and they're saying, yeah, that's a great, We Ride So They Fly is awesome because they're raising money and we never knew about Honor Flight New England and it just brings them more awareness too to meet their mission.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Now I know it's not just you, but you get the board, your family's involved and you're doing something you love and I can see the passion in your face. And that's all people, that's when they tell you, right? Do something you love, not something you hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of work, but it's definitely a lot of fun. It's definitely a lot of stressful times, but it's super exciting to be able to give back to something because when I started in 2013, I was just out of college. I was a mess and I started going on honor flights and it was kind of, Honor Flight gave back to me. So it's only right that, I can give everything I can to them.
That's great. Christina, thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll have this out. We're definitely going to have it out before June 25th. I can tell you that much. We'll have it out probably within a week. So we'll have everyone, and I appreciate everyone who's listening. Believe it or not, Christina, maybe we'll get people over, and I've had people listen from as far away as Germany and France. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe every once in a while, someone must have clicked on the wrong podcast and they found us. We got the three idiots.
Well, everybody's asking me how to listen to the podcast. They're like, "Oh my God, I'm going to listen to you tonight." And I was like, "Oh my God, no, they can totally."
No, it won't be tonight. Well, no, I would never have it up tonight. It's as the Three Guys podcast. You'll see it. We'll send it out the links. We're on Spotify. We're on all the links that you can think of. Google, Spotify, Pandora, any way you can find your podcast where people listen to them.
Look at you, Darren.
I know. Listen, and it's on our Facebook page. It pops right up the day we release it. So listen, when you work around people who know what they're doing, not me, the other people who edit and stuff like that.
No, me neither.
See, but you need those people. That's the thing. Those are the people, like you said, your person who does your promotion raffles and stuff like that. You know, those individuals are the ones that help you. They make you look better.
Yeah, I can't ask for anything. I'm an awkward human being. I will go into a place and be like, can I hang this flyer? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, thank you, and leave. And my people are just like, hey, listen, we're hanging this flyer here.
Yeah, who's gonna tell you no, especially for an event like that? That's ridiculous.
I don't know. It's very bizarre. You'll be surprised.
Oh, God. Well, Christina, thank you again. And thank you for everyone who listens to our podcast. And again, you can listen to us on all major platforms. We're there. We finally made it there. So we're not the three idiots, we're the three guys. So thank you. Yeah, so we're moving up in the world. Thank you again and have a great night.